Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening and thank you for tuning in to this special weekend edition of The Debate. We are focusing on what's been happening in Jammu and Kashmir. Remember, first he said, I'm not contesting elections, but then he said, I will. I should contest elections, and not just from one seat, from two seats. He's out for campaigning, and when he's out for campaigning, he's trying to tell Muslims that you must really be fearful because there is, what he says, an environment where Muslims are being humiliated across the country. He doesn't just stop there. Earlier today, he's raked up the issue of Afzal Guru. The man we are talking about needs no introduction. He's a former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister, Omar Abdullah, who's back in the poll fray. He's fighting elections, like I said, from two seats, and in the campaign mode. Omar Abdullah is sparking one political row after the other. Why is he doing this? Is he nervous? A lot of these questions have been asked. He's also saying that there is a larger conspiracy by New Delhi to keep me away, to ensure that I get defeated. Now, there is just as little trivia that in the last Lok Sabha elections that he contested, he lost. Now, this time around, he's speaking about the execution of Afzal Guru, convicted in the 2001 Parliament attack. He says that did not serve absolutely any purpose. He also says that the Jammu and Kashmir government would not have granted approval for the same if it was required at that point when Afzal Guru was hanged. First up, the comment.
See, my unfortunate thing was that the J&K government had nothing to do with Afzal Guru's execution. Otherwise, you would have had to do it with the permission of the state government, which I can tell you in no uncertain terms would not have been forthcoming.
Why?
It wouldn't have. We wouldn't have done it. I don't believe that any purpose was served by executing him. I don't.
Now, quickly, let's talk about Afzal Guru. He was convicted for aiding and abetting the 5 terrorists who stormed into the Indian Parliament on December the 13th, 2001. The attackers were killed in the encounter with our security forces, and Afzal Guru's role in providing logistical support to the attackers was a key factor why he got convicted. 9 people lost their lives in that dastardly attack. And now, reacting to Omar Abdullah's statement, the BJP is asking that how can a person who's been the chief minister have a soft corner for someone who's involved in a terror attack? The BJP has also questioned the Congress's silence on his remark.
वो अफजल गुरु जिसने संसद के ऊपर अटैक किया, करवाया, उस अफजल गुरु के विषय में बोल रहे हैं। छी 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 छी, मर्यादा को तार तार कर दिया। इसीलिए वो इतने कमजोर हो गए हैं कि 2 स्थानों से उन्हें चुनाव लड़ना पड़ रहा है।
उमर अब्दुल्ला जी का ये बयान सीधे सीधे सुप्रीम कोर्ट को चुनौती है। अफजल को फांसी मिली और किस लिए मिली? उसने संसद पे हमला करवाया। मुझे लगता है कि इसमें माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट को संज्ञान लेना चाहिए।
How can you justify person who attacked the parliament of the country, who was the key conspirator of the parliament of the country, and how come Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Congress party is silent on this or mum on this?
All of a sudden, Omar Abdullah speaking for Afzal Guru, that he would not allow his execution because it led to nothing.
There is a pattern behind it. There is a pattern of appeasement of a certain section of society, which is not only violative of the nationalistic ethos of this nation, which also doesn't augur well for a nation which is moving towards the world pedestal.
The Union Home Minister Amit Shah also has rained fire on the National Conference and the Congress. He was addressing party workers earlier in Jammu today when he said that if the NC and the Congress win these elections, terrorism will flourish. Development, he says, will take a back seat.
आपको आतंकवाद चाहिए या चैन, अमन, शांति, विकास और उद्योग विकास चाहिए? ये आपको तय करना है। अगर एनसी कांग्रेस आई तो आतंकवाद आएगा और भाजपा आई तो किसी की ताकत नहीं है आतंकवाद को यहां घुसपैठ कराने की। कश्मीर में ऐसी सरकारें थी जो आतंकवाद के सामने आंख मूंद कर बैठी। ऐसे लोग भी हैं जो शांति होती थी तो यहां आकर मुख्यमंत्री बन जाते थे और आतंकवाद होता था तो दिल्ली में जाकर कॉफी बार में कॉफी पीते थे। इन्होंने आतंकवाद को बढ़ाया, मैं आज कहना चाहता हूं, मोदी जी के 10 साल में आतंकवाद में 70% कमी लाने का काम ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी की है।
So while you have the BJP going all guns blazing against Omar Abdullah, the PDP is backing Omar. They are calling Afzal Guru's hanging, quote-unquote, unfortunate. The Congress is a little bit more cautious. They are even refusing to condemn the remarks that have been made by him.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate because if you remember that his name was way down in the list and one doesn't even understand why his name was brought up to the first number. As Omar Saab said that he had nothing to do with this. Well, probably maybe things were not privy to him, but since he was the head of the state, I think probably he should shoulder this responsibility that he should have known what is going to happen.
Why should the Congress respond on a comment made by Mr. Omar Abdullah? Does the BJP respond on every statement made by Mr. Naidu or Mr. Nitish Kumar? In that case, I want to ask the BJP, what is your comment on the promise made on Muslim reservations by Mr. Naidu? Ask them to respond first. Why should I be responsible for what my allies say? In that case, the BJP has to be, Mr. Amit Shah should, from morning to evening, start responding on the statements made by all of their allies.
So the Congress is saying, why are you asking us a question about something that Omar has said? And in the same breath, he's saying, then go and ask the BJP a lot more questions about what their allies say. But clearly, the discomfort of the Congress is visible and should be. Let's quickly open the panel. Shehzad Poonawala is a national spokesperson of the BJP joining us. Sushil Panditji is a noted activist. Also on the show is Tausif Shah, leader of the PDP. Kamru Zaman Chaudhary is a political analyst. He does lean towards the Congress. Syed Fazal Kashni is a political analyst. And we also have Vivek Srivastava, political analyst, who's completing our panel. Let's begin, Kamru, first up by asking you, because I still don't have a representative from the NC on the show. Why should you not speak out when Omar Abdullah says something as dangerous as he has done? Are you willing to snap off your ties with him, or do you believe that coalition compulsion today is more important than what he says?
No, Priti, one thing is very certain. Omar Abdullah has filed his nomination by taking an oath of allegiance to the Constitution of India. And it is because of the Constitution of India, the Supreme Court has given a verdict to hang the terrorist Afzal Guru out here. So the question and debate of whether Afzal Guru's hanging was justified or not does not arise. And I believe my party does not owe an explanation to anybody for any comments made by Omar Abdullah. It's the people of the state will decide whether Omar Abdullah has spoken a justified tone or not. But many questions remain unanswered. Like Devendra Singh, who was arrested from Jammu and Kashmir in the famous RDX case of the Pulwama. What happened to Mr. Devendra Singh? He seemed to be a member of the Bharatiya Janata Party. What happened to the 11 informers that were arrested in Madhya Pradesh, out of which many were of the members of the BJP IT cell? We don't ask such questions because it is the country first that we all stand together.
No, Kamru, we always ask such questions. We always ask such questions. You might have not heard us asking those questions very often. Kamru, I mean, I do not disagree, and neither there is, personal axe to grind with you. But in all fairness, what Omar has said today borders on being dangerous. There is no difference in Omar Abdullah speaking and a secessionist speaking. That is the problem here. And that is why somewhere people of Jammu and Kashmir, people of the country are looking at the Congress that talks of a Mohabbat ki dukaan to speak up on the issue. And to not just say, oh, listen, don't ask us questions, we are not responsible for this.
No, Priti, one thing you must understand that in the Kashmir Valley, there are still people who believe and think, though I don't believe, my party does not believe so, because it's a Supreme Court verdict. But the people in the valley, they still think a lot about how Afzal Guru's trial went on in the first place. I don't want a Pandora's box to be opened just because one leader somewhere has made a statement. My party has already distanced from that, and I don't believe that there is nothing else to debate on that.
No, but you know, Kamru, I think what you're alluding towards is saying that there could be a popular sentiment. There is a bit of a vote bank that possibly could get pleased with, this kind of an utterance. So that is why Omar is possibly justified in speaking what he is doing. And I think that is even more dangerous. Sushil, why don't you jump in right away before I get in the other guests also? And we'll also tell our viewers that we are still trying to get a representative from the National Conference to actually tell us why is Omar Abdullah today feeling so scared, Sushil, that yesterday he is speaking about how Muslims of the entire country are feeling humiliated, to today defending someone like an Afzal Guru.
Thank you for having me on your show, Deepti, and good evening to all my co-panelists and your viewers. The time has come to speak the truth. Jihad has cultivated a huge pro-Pakistan constituency in the valley. There is no point denying it. There is no point obfuscating on it by saying that we have done a lot of vikas, we have done highways, tunnels, railways, blah, 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 distributed a lot of scholarships, created jobs, entrepreneurship, brought investment. All that kept aside, there is a thriving pro-Pakistan jihadi constituency in the valley. And it was proved during the elections where Engineer Rashid, sitting in Tihar for the last 5 years, could win, could thrash Omar Abdullah in Baramulla Lok Sabha constituency. Now Omar Abdullah is trying to do one better on Engineer Rashid. He's trying to be a bigger Engineer Rashid in Kashmir by espousing exactly those very causes that made Engineer Rashid win the elections. And for that, he's pandering to a secessionist jihadi sentiment in the valley.
Absolutely.
Irrespective of who he is an ally with, irrespective of whether he is called a mainstream political party, irrespective of what their other pretensions have been over the last 70 years. So this truth be laid bare. That's number one. Number two, it suits BJP because it creates a very tight corner for Congress in Jammu. Having allied with an openly pro-jihadi national conference in the valley, it will become very difficult for Congress, which is competing with Jammu, competing with BJP in Jammu. So it marginalizes Congress heavily in Jammu, where it is banking and fighting on most of the seats as an alliance partner. Now, the post-election scenario is BJP reaps the harvest of anti-jihad vote in Jammu. National Conference wins the pro-jihad vote in Valley. And post-election National Conference and BJP, owing to an electoral verdict, the compulsions of democracy and to serve the people of the state, will form a coalition. This is where we are headed. Irrespective of pre-poll, posturing, sloganeering, and hitting each other below the belt on this issue or that issue. This is the electoral politics, broadly speaking, on the surface.
Absolutely. And Sushil, I'm so glad that you've spoken about this, something that no other Neta on the panel will do. So somewhere, Shehzad, are you also guilty of ensuring that these secessionists and these elements continue to foster because you want to win the Jammu and Kashmir election?
First of all, let me say what needs to be said unequivocally. There is a man called Rahul Gandhi who for the last few weeks and months has been roaming around with one copy of the Constitution. Today, when Omar Abdullah in his manifesto, not in his manifestation, says he wants 370 back that had been ordained by the Supreme Court that was rightfully removed. He wants not the Ambedkar's constitution, he wants a separate constitution. Mr. Rahul Gandhi talks about Arakshan. For the first time in 70 years, right to dignity, right to jobs, right to education, right to proper life, right to a life has been given to the Dalits, the Valmikis, the Gujars, the Bakarwals of the valley. And at that time, the NC is saying that we want to remove those reservations. So Rahul Gandhi and his spokespersons, official or unofficial, ought to take a position on this. Thirdly, when Rahul Gandhi's friend and family friend Omar Abdullah says that there was no need to hang Mr. Afzal Guru. Let me quote to you what the Supreme Court said. The Supreme Court said that there is only one thing that will satisfy the conscience of the society and the country, hanging Afzal Guru, because his crimes are so heinous. So if the Supreme Court is wrong, the UPA government was wrong, and Mr. Omar Abdullah said that I was not informed. Is that a fact? Sushil Kumar Shinde on 11th of February 2013 said we had informed Omar Abdullah. So now Mr. Chaudhary has to even take a position that was Omar Abdullah lying or is Sushil Kumar Shinde lying. These positions have taken. Now let me come to the question of Sushil Panditji. Look, Sushil Panditji, I have tremendous respect, and even sometimes when he's harsh on my party, I do not fault him because he has the right to say what he has to say. But Sushil Panditji forgot one statement. Sushilji, did you forget statement of Rahul Gandhi? This election season, Rahul Gandhi has said that something you and I would never have expected. He said that people who are coming to Jammu Kashmir are outsiders. Imagine these people want the help of China to re-implement 370. Those are not outsiders. Jihadis from Pakistan are not outsiders. But a Bihari buying land or doing business in Kashmir is an outsider. And Uttar Pradesh is an outsider. A person from Kerala is an outsider. So my contention, Mr. Sushil Pandit, is that even Rahul Gandhi today is speaking the language of jihad, because this is not some insider-outsider debate. When he says outsider, he means the kafir, which is taken from the Islamist playbook. And therefore, the BJP has no track with such alliance partners or with such narratives, because we believe that what has happened to the Kashmiri Pandits is Islamic jihad. None of the other people on the panel will call it out.
Okay, Shehzad, you've opened a can of worms, if I could use that word. Kamru, I know you want to come in. Just allow me a minute. I want to quickly ask Shehzad a counter question now that, Sushilji, he's so passionately spoken against the NC, and rightfully so. There was a time that you have seen the NC doing business with the BJP. The BJP also doing business with the PDP. The so-called secessionist element, Shehzad. Are you assuring me today on this debate that come what may, you will not do business with the NC? Are you saying this?
Yes. Let me say it categorically, unequivocally, loud and clear, and not just for my dear friend Sushil Pandit, but for everybody watching. Read my lips. We have done away with 370. 370 was the reason why Jammu Kashmir could not be fully integrated with India, and anybody advocates for its reimposition. We have no business with them. We have no truck with them. And let me make one more point clear. Just one more point, because Deepti, I was seeing your show at 7 o'clock also. You did a segment on which Pakistan for the first time has admitted its role in Kashmir. These people want to talk to Pakistan. Congress party must tell us. They want to talk to Pakistan, killed our soldiers in Kargil, which killed our soldiers. No. Congress ought to take a position on Constitution, on Arakshan, and must take a position on Pakistan right now, right here. And Congress is not there, then Vivek Srivastava can fill in.
Okay, and you will never do business with the National Conference. No post-poll alliance, Shehzad.
First of all, Deepti, you have very little confidence in my party. Our party is forming the government in Jammu Kashmir. So where is the question of alliance?
Okay. Like they say, read my lips, Vivek. I think he's answered that question, Sushil. Please allow me to get in quickly, Syed and Vivek, who've been patiently waiting. Then I'm going to come to both Kamru and to you also to ask you whether you believe he's answered that question. Vivek ji, but what really are the compulsions? I mean, does Omar believe that by being, someone as secessionist as an engineer Rashid, he can win elections? Because people in Jammu and Kashmir have moved away from that kind of politics. The truth be told, people want development. People want Vikas. People don't want you to be a terror apologist.
Agreed. But the problem is there's a lot of rhetoric without reading, without analyzing. People just comment. Shehzad is over there, my dear friend. He did not comment on Afzal. He never discussed why some people did not want him hanged. He just accused us. He accused the opposition. He accused Rahul Gandhi. He accused the Congress. All of us are anti-national. We want to break the country. I mean, this is not the way things happen. We are all parties recognized by the Election Commission of India, and everybody is patriotic here. That's the first part. So get the fundas clear. There is a big contribution of every party in this nation since 1947. Congress is also one of them. Number two, I'll come directly to the point. Let's not beat about the bush. Jammu wale jihadi nahi hai aur Kashmir wale jihadi hai, as Mr. Pandit is saying. He is accusing the entire Muslim population of Kashmir to be pro-Pakistani and anti-jihadi on your show. And this should be condemned. They are citizens of this nation, and you need to respect them. Now, coming to the main point of what Mr. Omar Abdullah talked of, I'll quote what the Rajya Sabha Member Parliament, Mr. Chandan Mitra of the BJP, wrote in the Pioneer on October 7, 2005. He said that Afzal Guru was not directly involved in the attack. He did not storm the parliament and he did not kill anyone physically. Point number one. Why I'm going to state a few facts to you is not because I believe what the court has finally decided. We should not have a contempt of court and we have to agree with it. But I want to tell you why there are certain people still in this country who feel that what happened was unfair. And we have a right to discuss it. There were two people who were accused. The Supreme Court said, a little right what Shahzad said. Evidence is circumstantial. Collective consciousness of the society will be satisfied only by the capital punishment. Now, that was a time when the left and many other parties were trying to raise an issue with the UPA government that capital punishment for any crime should be removed, number one. Number two, there was a gentleman called S.A.R. Gilani. I think Mr. Sushil Pandit knows him. Mr. S.A.R. Gilani was a co-accused with Afzal, and in your program right now in the package, it was shown there were 6-7 accused, and the name of Afzal was in the bottommost, and suddenly it came up onto the top. And that was the problem that people started thinking, because every proof against Afzal Guru was given by this guy S.A.R. Gilani. 2 laptops and 1 cell phone that was found on Afzal Guru was also attested by Bismillah, who was the brother of S.A.R. Gilani. S.A.R. Gilani was not punished and Afzal Guru was punished. He was given one junior lawyer. 11 years he was in the Kalkotri over there. However, now listen to me now. The way he was hanged. So many people in this country, they are not against India. We are not against our constitution. We are patriotic. We love the nation. Anybody who attacks the parliament must be punished. But the way this was handled, we feel that the court is supreme, so we listen to it. But that is where the question started arising. And
Vivek, if I may, see, because the idea is that we hear everyone, but on certain issues, I don't understand for how long will you continue to pander to, whatever these sentiments are that do not matter. That do not matter. And Afzal Guru today is not an issue in 2024, and you also know it, Omar Abdullah knows it. He's doing this only, like Sushil said, I think, I think put this out brilliantly. He's saying because he wants to win this election. He's scared that much like the Lok Sabha election, he might end up losing these elections. Tauseef ji, now you've also been patiently listening into this. We earlier heard a number of these PDP leaders who continue to stand with Omar in the kind of comments he has made. But do you not see the writing on the wall, Tauseef ji, that leaders like Omar Abdullah, leaders like Mehbooba Mufti are marginalized today in Jammu and Kashmir?
No, I'd just like to clear you that we don't stand with national conference. I'll just tell you that it's a clear, blatant lie that Omar Abdullah is saying he didn't know anything about the hanging. He was the chief minister of the state, and under Article 370, it was a very necessary point that the chief minister signs the document or he gives his concurrence to be hanged. If any person was to be hanged within, when we had Article 370 over here, so it was very clear, like same was done when Mr. Maqbool Bhatt was hanged. His father signed the document because Farooq Abdullah was a chief minister at that time, and now Mr. Omar Abdullah. Second thing, we don't stand with Omar Abdullah that he says that now if he is saying that it was not needed, then he should have stopped at that time. Not now. This is not the time to speak about him.
Why is he doing this?
Because he was the person, because you have to understand, we all have to understand, and the full J&K voters have to understand that he was the person who gave the concurrence to the hanging of Mr. Afzal Guru. Whether convicted or not convicted, whatever reasons, but he was the person who signed the document. Now he is showing us his crocodile tears. Obviously, it's very clear that he is very much afraid. He's very much afraid of getting the same fate what he got in parliament election. Because we have seen that he has filed his nominations on, you can say, the double constituency.
Okay.
Maybe if it was allowed, he could have gone for 3 or 4, because he somehow wants to win. We also see that he, 3 or 4 months before, he used to say that he is not going to participate in the election, Omar Abdullah.
So are you also saying, Tausif ji, let me ask you a pointed question and deal with the elephant in the room, because we also have Syed, who's been very patiently waiting. No matter what, you are not aligning with the Abdullahs. Are you also saying this?
We don't align with them because why should we align with them? We have our own stand. We have our own.
You've all been together in the Gupkar alliance, right?
No. That way BJP has been in alliance with National Conference. That way Congress has been in alliance with PDP. That way PDP has been in alliance with BJP. So you cannot say that once we have been in the alliance, they were the people who broke the lines. We treat ourselves still the part of alliance. We still.
You treat yourself a part of the alliance, but you're saying we do not agree with what Omar Abdullah is saying. Now, Syed.
Please let me continue. Let me continue, please. Just give me one moment, please.
Okay. Take 10 seconds, sir.
Yeah, exactly. PhD was created by our party, Mahbooba Mufti, and it was a clear plan of National Conference which wanted to leave the PhD because they knew if we are fighting the elections under PhD banner, we would surely secure 90% seats. And I go with Mr. Sushil Pandit that he said that there's some hidden consensus between BJP and the National Conference.
You say exactly that there is some tacit understanding between the BJP and the National Conference. That is your charge. Syed, how do you look at that charge? Is that true? Earlier today, Omar Abdullah has also said that the BJP has struck a deal with regional parties and independents to form a government.
Yeah, his party can be one of them. And let me remind Mr. Shehzad Poonawalla that BJP had an alliance in Ladakh after abrogation of 370 with National Conference. So saying that we have no alliance with National Conference or we don't plan to have an alliance with National Conference, that's a lie. Secondly, I want to remind Mr. Sushil Pandit. He mentioned about Engineer Rashid. Let me remind him that Engineer Rashid has been a two-time MLA. And by saying that people in Kashmir are pro-jihadist and they support jihadis, let me tell you, he is disrespecting the mandate of people. This time, people in Baramulla constituency, they had voted in the largest numbers in the last 30 years. So he cannot label all the people as jihadists who have voted for Engineer Rashid.
Syed, does that take away from every other sin that he has committed, all other crimes that he has committed, all the serious charges against him?
The charges
he should have never found a place in the parliament, Sushil. That is the problem. And we haven't seen political parties taking a stand as strong as that, Syed.
No, let me make this very clear. The charges have not been proved yet. He is only accused. He is not convicted. So there are many leaders from the BJP who are accused of a lot of things. That does not give them a clean certificate. So similarly, Mr. Engineer Rashid, he is not convicted. He is only accused, and people have given him that mandate, and he has right to represent the people of Baramulla in Parliament.
So you're saying that there is obviously nothing wrong with also what Omar Abdullah has said? Yes or no, Syed?
No, Omar Abdullah will continue to give these statements to appease people.
Okay, he's saying to appease people. I've run out of time. Sushil, 10 seconds to close this conversation.
That is why he is going.
Sushil, 10 seconds to close the conversation.
Yes, thank you, Deepti. I think it was unfair question to Shehzad whether they will have any alliance with NC, because there's only one man who will decide post-elections, and it is above and beyond everyone else's paycheck in BJP. That's number one. Number two, during the 2014 last assembly elections, BJP and PDP fought like cats and dogs, trying to throw each other out of the state. This was their position pre-election, and then they got into an alliance. So pre-election and post-election can be completely divergent positions irrespective of what the people say during the campaign. Third, right now, Mr. Omar Abdullah is trying to do one better on Engineer Rashid, just as PDP in its own places is trying to do this. And why Rahul Gandhi is also saying these things is because there is almost 40% vote in Jammu region, which is Muslim vote.
Absolutely.
Congress has to get that vote too. And I'm not saying entire Muslim vote is jihadi vote, but I'm saying a critical difference is made by the jihadi bloc everywhere.
Okay.
And you need to acknowledge it.
Okay, Sushil, you've ruffled quite a feathers on the debate, I must say. And Shehzad, apologies, I've completely run out of time. Otherwise, I would have come back to you. But this is a story we'll keep our focus on. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. We quickly need to head into a break.